clear, Joe. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Evesports EGL One semi-bracket, lower bracket semi-final between DNMK and ExDee. Today, I'm joined by none other than the man Prof, who I have not cast alongside since 2014, which is quite serendipitous and a nice flashback in the best of ways. Unfortunately, the man Hayes has a very big essay that he needs to complete, so he's had to check out because we had to move from Thursday to tonight. So thank you all for joining us here on the Sunday evening. And with that said, Prof, how are you doing today, my good man?
Well, I'm doing pretty well, eh? It's been a hot minute since I casted with you, but it should also be a hot game, I guess, eh? That's what I'm told, anyway. Dynamic versus ExDee.
Yeah, for sure. ExDee's got this massively burning supernova flame that they've been applicating liberally, channeling some carbon 2015 with some no respect CS, and it has been exceedingly entertaining. In a game that they had about 2 weeks ago now, I think, it was the week before, they absolutely smashed. Rusty went very, very large on both maps and had some incredible D clutches, which I've actually put into a montage, which should be out a little bit later in the week. So yeah, look, they've been cruising, and DNMK haven't actually had the most settled of times. They had just had Davo recently rejoin their roster after he had a 2-week break and went on holiday, and now it's Nexus's turn to be on break. So BNY has been featuring very heavily for DNMK in CS, and he's normally on the Valorant end of things, so he's been a lot more included in these games. But I still think it's their game tonight. ExDee have been doing some creative stuff, but as we've noted, they're actually on the way out. This roster is disbanding, and they very kindly continue to play in the tournament, and we'll be seeing it to the end of this. But what is your feeling on the proceedings for this evening, Mr. Prof?
I mean, I think it would be unfair to say anything other than a DNMK win is expected here. They're looking like a very, very good team. Obviously, Divo, I've heard told that he's looked very, very good this year. It's finally seeming to show all of the potential that we knew he's had for so long. And if he can keep that going into 2021, I mean, that's a power player that I think any team in SA would want to grab hold of. So the fact that he's performing for DNMK here definitely gives them a massive edge against ExDee, who, as you say, it might just be that little bit of motivation that they are struggling with. It's like, let's just get to the end of the season, guys, and we can get done with it. But Divo and Canny especially, those are two very, very powerful players. The man, let's not forget that he's been hanging around for quite a while, but certainly somebody that can pop off and win you a map or two. So ExDee, they kind of are staring down the barrel at the moment.
Definitely. Look, they've made it into the top 6, so they're one place outside of the money. If they do lose this, they'll go to fight against royalty for that 5th, 6th position seeding, because we have to do these games because that's where the prize money starts. So they just on the cusp of it, and they do find themselves in the top 4 right now, or potential top 4. If whoever wins this goes immediately into the top 4, so they land inside of the prize money, which is quite nice. But I think DNMK, traditionally, if we look at the other results from other tournaments in South Africa, they've pretty much been a 2nd or 3rd position consistently. So they're obviously aiming to get a little bit higher up the rankings for sure. And I know that they've been putting in a lot of work before their breaks that they were going into. So, and it did show. Rotating in Connie was quite nice, I think, as well. Brought a lot of experience into the team. He's been, competing in the top level of South Africa for the better half of the last, let's say, half of the decade at minimum. Yeah. So I think having him in just from an experience perspective is really nice. And it's quite a good lineup, all things considered. I mean, with the full firepower that they're bringing to the table, you could have the man Davo or Heartbreak really popping off at any point in time and putting up big numbers for you, which is nice to have. It's not like, especially if we look at like a team like Navi, you really only have Simple and Electronic who can post those really massive scores. Flamey's so up and down and all over the place. He's so inconsistent. You can't really rely on him as being one of those players. But in this team, you've got three really, really strong guys. Whereas alternatively, if we look over on ExDee side, it's really only Rusty and KZR that have really posted any large scores. Creation has got the experience, so does TJ in a lot of breaths, but if we look at their traditional results, they've only been cracking like a 0.8 rating, so it's nothing been massively untowards like where we saw the guys from Energy, Mr. Mango himself, posting a 2.1 rating over a whole map, which is just disgusting. Like it's absolutely popping off, going to a sick level of play. So I think look, for tonight it should be a 2-0 to DNMK. It's going to be harder without the EGL though. Nexus is a really massive portion of their core team, and I don't know who's actually going to do that role, eh?
I mean, well, I see Nexus is actually coming to play instead of BNY. So
is he coming? Is he made it to the game? Okay, well, that's fantastic news for them.
He just popped into the server for us there, so we're about to go live soon. But yeah, I'm just going back to that. I like, you know, every top level team has to have a superstar player that you can rely on, and that seems to be for that is Diver at the moment for Dynamic, and you can basically build the kingdom off the back of that player. So if Dynamic can maybe add a couple of pieces, or Canny gets back to the old form, the man becomes a little bit more consistent, Dynamic can be a very, very dangerous team going into the final month of the year.
No, for sure. And look, I think the energy switch up was also, it's been a keen talking point on our in this tournament as well. They posted a 42 round 22-20 against 80k Mirage, and it's pretty much the closest I've seen 80k to a loss. They unfortunately lost out on 3 map points there, and while they lost 2-0, it wasn't like the normal sort of preceding 2-0 that we see from 80k. Even in what is normally close games for them is normally like a 16-10 or a 16-12, even to be put on the precipice of map point 3 times was no mean feat, and it just seemed like nerves got the better of energy. But that lineup is like 3-4 weeks old at this point. It's very, very fresh, and it's nice to see Mango and Destroy together. But as we get into this game, we are ready with the pistol round. We do have the boys from ExDee over on the CT side. They're going to be looking to put up a good defense here as DNMK attack into them. As we get started here with the pistol round, we do see Heartbreak with a double flash and a molly, and then 2 decoy, 4 armor on the side of DNMK. So they're going with a very default setup, and absolutely no util over on ExDee. They're looking to take gunfights here. They want to get down and dirty, and it's going to be a top push as we come through here. The molly comes out. Beast opens things up with one of his own. KZR opens things up. Secondarily, Rusty pops down with a nice cheeky 2k. And there's Creation bringing up the rear. He manages to take out the last. So a nice clean pistol round from CT. Great way to start things off.
Yeah, a bit of a disjointed take there by Dynamic. I mean, not even really doing much damage on that round. ExDee getting through with full 5 players and armor, so they'll be quite happy to purchase up into this round. But yeah, Dynamic just looked like there was a bit of miscommunication on when exactly to go, because the 2 players came out of the hut, then the door player wasn't even really in position as yet. So ExDee able to fight, take fights one at a time and then make their lives easy.
Rusty with work to do outside. He gets 1, but they're pushing up on him to his left. He's going to stay in position because he does have support coming up the secret, and he's just going to clean up things here. It looks like a nice quick cleanup there, stacking some points up to get himself a 6 KD and a 250 ADR on the first 2 rounds. Easy rounds, all things considered. I do quite like the M4 no util bar. Beast getting very excited on the server, which you guys won't hear, but they are very excited about those 2 round wins. They find themselves with 3 MP9s and a FAMAS now into a full set of AKs.
Yeah, and I mean, they do have full utility, so they'll be able to hold off a little bit of the push here from Dynamic. Dynamic setting themselves up pretty well at the moment. Again, just spread out, nothing really pushing too much, except trying to get as much control of outside as they can. ExDee won't really be able to fight here, don't have the weaponry to do it. And some shots exchanged on the ramp area, but TJ, no company at the moment. He's going to be in the Lonely Hearts Club for the next couple of seconds at the very least.
And the CTs have a good, nice spread up hold. They're not, like you say, putting pressure outside. They don't really have the option. When here comes the man up heaven, the man himself, with some trigger discipline here, he should be in for 2, and he is. He secures the top bomb site, and they're going to now stream in through Mouth. Rusty's going to try and compete for Mouth control, and he does manage to get one, but the man quickly trades him out. So now it's just TJ and Beast on the retake. I don't think they go for this just based off of util and that weaponry once again. Man, going to look for more damage outside, and TJ is going to pick his head off, which is going to help out a lot. But Davo is in position here. He fluffs the shot. Unfortunately, first time he manages to clean up TJ. Beast now has the M4, and he's going to start pressuring in from Mouth. But at this point, I think it's time to jam.
Yeah, just save it. There's no point. It's called jam time. He's going to get a couple of kills. That's all he really needs to keep the money under some kind of control for Dynamic. He's going to hear the player coming. Okay, getting a bit cheeky here. Is this going to work? I can't see this working. Heartbreak's juking. They're making the noises and they bait him out.
Well,
Still, a wonderful play there from the man. He basically breaks that to round wide open, able to get outside into the hell area long before ExDee even considers that a possibility, and then gets 2 kills. So Dynamic, they don't even allow ExDee to save anything, so they'll be quite happy with that. And as you can see, money's not looking too great. There are a couple of upgraded rifles and an AWP, but utility is at a premium, and Beast is going to get the first kill. That's Nexus planted in the ground. The man's taken some damage as well. That's on short, where they've gotten very, very aggressive. TJ's fallen down there as the man is tasked with just holding the back lines. Fast rotates from ExDee here are not going to be possible, as smokes have locked off the B bomb site. Bomb goes down, and it looks like ExDee almost in position to just call a save already. As they'll try to get something done. Creation gets a very valuable kill. That's Heartbreak going down. That's the back line secured. Beast will double check, and they're taking an awful amount of time to decide what they're going to do here. And Divo going down. That is the AWP gone. Casimir getting that. And Dynamic in a 2 versus 4. All of a sudden, can this work? The man is the last player alive, but he's caught out of position. Creation gets the kill, and Dynamic drop a round immediately after picking one up. ExDee starting things off very, very well here on their CT side.
Definitely. Does he get the defuse? Yes, he does. He manages without the kits. There was a kit on Creation, so they didn't really need to do that, but they are going to run around and get themselves some rifles in the interim, get that value up, and they secure that AWP. So it's a nice 4,750 USD that they don't have to pump into that. It means that Mr. DJ Dave, the Beast, can re-secure that outside position, and they actually had like really good position on that post plant. 4 of them were still alive, and it's a really good retake from ExDee. That confidence in that burning star as it's burning out just coming through.
Yeah, Dynamic just not really in position to help each other out in that retake, and dropped 1 by 1 basically. Flash comes out.
100%, 100 cement, and it starts off really nicely for DNMK, or at least for ExDee on the start of this, and they get 4 for 1 as it's only Divo left. He's the only man that had a rifle though, so not the most expended on this round. Everybody maintains a 2k, so they should be able to buy quite comfortably into the next one. And Doctor gets a nice shot onto Beast, realizing he was still in the heaven position. He might be on the angle. He sets up for the pre-fire, manages to get that one, but can he get some more damage? TJ doesn't have an upgraded rifle, so he's going to be hunting, looking for something a little bit better than the MP9. It's still really good though. It's actually such a powerful weapon at this point in the meta. Double dink and you're gone, and he's in a perfect position here as Davo is going to push towards ramp. He's where he might be on the angle, but it's not going to be enough. TJ cleans him up, takes around.
Standing on that, like, you know, that 5-year-old's chair. It's a tiny readjustment that gets you the kill. TJ grabbing himself the AK as well. So ExDee grabbed himself that 4th round as well. Dynamic will be able to buy up here, but can he? He's got absolutely no utility. The rest of them are fully loaded though, and ExDee did lose the AWP. That might come into play later on in the round. It certainly will hamper their ability to control the outside unless they get aggressive. It looks like they are going to do that. Flashes and nades to start things off, as Dynamic will attempt to take the fight outside at the moment.
And this seems to be a tradition right now, and I can understand the thought process behind it. You could just have so much space there. You set up a nice smoke wall, you can take secret, you can rotate into mouth. It gives you access to both bomb sites and just a lot more space to play with. since they've expanded that, this map has been a lot more even. It's still somewhat CT-sided. So we're expecting good stuff here from ExDee, but the man hits a 6 shot as he's pushing down the ramp side. He manages to open it up and take out TJ. KZR immediately drops down the vents. He's going to look to be in position here, and DJ Dave, the Beast, is in a good position. He's going to be able to take down Nexus, so he's going to be playing just off the scoreboard and off the mini-map. Be in the full RGL position. Creation gets another one. Connie goes down before the bomb plant. It's still towards the top of ramp. That might be a bit of a misplay. Shouldn't have probably been more towards the site with his teammates. Now, there's 2 on single who are looking to push out here from XD.
Dynamic needs to be careful. They need to make certain they've got tradable positions here. Fights are coming through. The decon door. Some damage dealt to Casimir there. Diver's got the kill onto the ramp area. Rusty and KZ are on very, very low HP up against Heartbreak and the man. The man's going to bring it into a 2 versus 2. But XD is in a horrible situation and the bomb is fully under their control. Casimir is going to start the fight. He's going to get the first kill. Does he get the second? He's going to try and bait him out. Not enough time, and Heartbreak has his number. Does he go down though? No, he'll survive that as well. So Dynamic able to break it back 4-2. And only 1 player alive though does mean that their economy is under some level of pressure, and already Galil is going to come out for 2 players. That's on Nexus and Divo, and that is, I mean, nobody likes playing with a Galil, must be said.
I think there's very, very small percentage of individuals, but most of them are mad lads. So it's Rusty. That D. Now this is where he's extremely dangerous. Is where you just sort of hold W into this deco, and he's done huge work with it before. Let's see if he can continue that form. Just one little correction there as well is KZR is KZR's, not KZR. He's actually doing our obs right now. So if he was playing and doing the obs, that would be insanely impressive, I must say. Be one of the highlights for me, at least. I'll tell you that much. But this should be a somewhat of a gimme if DNMK just keeps it a little bit simple and honest and just moves together, keeps himself in tradable positions. So he should be able to close this out.
Yeah, this is a map where Force Spies can actually be quite a lot of value, and that is going to be the first kill. Misses the first shot. Does he land the next? No, he doesn't. Divo somehow able to come out of what should have been a certain death situation. Grabs the AK and will make a run for it as he's going to dodge a second potential death there. Divo certainly has enough lives to make a cat jealous at the moment as the man saves him once again there. Man turning things around. He's actually been on quite a tear, must be said, at the start of this map. He's going to add a 3rd. Does he grab that all-important final 4th, though? It's all up to Rusty. He's got the deagle. Started this round off with a kill there. The shots will come through. Nexus, though, gets the final kill. And Dynamic grabbed themselves a 3rd.
And Nexus's first kill, him and Connie, just having a little bit of a slow start. 1 for 6 and 1 for 7. Has to be said that, yeah, the man's carry right now. He is being the man by name and the man by nature. But Rusty, over on the other side, along with the Beast, are both over the 100 ADR point with pretty good KDs of their own. Rusty with a 3 KD is being an absolute terror to them on the map right now. And it's more or less what we surmised in the build-up. It's almost like we've watched these teams play some CS before. So they've got another good setup with a scout, actually. On the outside, Beast manages to find some damage.
Great way to start off around. 2 players on low HP. Heartbreaker next, starting things off at 30.
And it's a really nice setup. I like the Scout Deeg because the Deeg can do 30 damage at pretty much any range as long as you hit them in the chest. So you one-tap with the Scout and follow up with the Deeg and it's guaranteed kills. You don't even have to hit the headshots.
Yep. TJ just trying to create a bit of distraction there for Beast to get a bit more damage. As at the moment, Dynamic just trying to make a play for the ramp area. They are, you can see, quite worried about the potential positioning of XD here. As Beast is going to walk right into the crosshairs of Canny. And the fight's going to go through there. The man picks up another 2 as XD getting in position here to try and prevent the bomb plant. See what they can do. And Dynamic plant fairly safe here. Canny's got the overwatch. KZR gets the kill into Heartbreak there. And recovers an AK. That's not actually a bad save for him at the end of this round. Still got 3,200, so can drop over a weapon into one of his teammates' hands if needed. The rest of the team, though, apart from Beast, I think you'd be pretty happy going into the next round with the weapons that you have right now. Oh. some damage being dealt here. I mean, Dynamic is taking a ton. They're going to lose a third player. All up to Nexus right now. KZR and Beast. Beast will go down. KZR, though, he's saving that AK. He's got no interest in getting involved here. He's hanging out in T-spawn already. And has been for some time. And Dynamic, again, losing 3 players. It means they can never really build a proper bank. A couple of the players are looking fairly wealthy. But they lose a round, and it could be some severe pressure placed onto the bank of Dynamic at this point.
It does seem like they are hitting their stride a little bit more. I still think that round overall was a bit of a win for ExDee, just on the financial setup, as you noted. Huge pressure outside, though, at the start of this round. They already moved up to red container, so they don't want to give up this space, which has become so popular for that specific reason. It does look like DNMK do have a top.
The man's going to catch Rusty out here with the backstab. He could completely compromise the entirety of the outside area. Does he spot the second player at red? Does he? No, he's not going to spot him, and nobody's going to check. Black bars?
Oh,
the man?
you're looking at him.
What's going on?
You're looking at him, and he's still sitting there. The Beast. He gets the kill. He doesn't get traded. It's heartbreak killing creation. Okay, he's dead now. He's dead now. We can breathe. That was very awkward, but KZR making a meal of top here. He puts down one as Connie tries to come out of the hut area. There's one pushing up to his left, and he's going to get him as well. Now it's a 2-on-2. This is much better from them, considering they haven't been able to do this too much against full buys. And DNMK identify that he's still on the top side, so they do make the wise decision to rather disengage and move back down. The man, the timing could be a bad one for him here. He puts him on 13 HP. That Glock is enough. He just needs to spit at him wrong.
Should probably be saving right now. Don't take this fight. Not against the man. The man is baiting him hard. Oh, he's going to win the fight. Divo, does he expect him to be sitting at the bottom of the ladder? No, he doesn't.
So Divo cleans up the round. But even that being said, like you say, they're not getting a lot of players through. Still, 5-4. They're putting the rounds up on the board where it counts. So they're going to take the lead for the first time in this map. And even though ExDee had a really good start and a couple of good rounds, winning, 4 out of the first 5, and only losing 4 players in that, well, except for the one round, but in the rounds they won, they had only lost 4 players in total. So they had some bank and had a couple of good things going for them. But now it just seems like DNMK have the answer. They're going to play a trading game. And he sets himself up for a sick one. He gets the kill, and Nexus and Heartbreak, though, restore some normality. Rusty comes out of heaven, but he's not going to be able to do anything. The man puts him down. It's the first round that they do get through with a decent amount of players still alive. 4 out of 5.
It looked sketchy with the way that they were going there, because they'd actually they banked on all going out of the hut. The first player goes down. If a couple more deagle shots come through there, that could have gotten very, very ugly. But DNMK actually got the good entries and were able to secure that 6th for themselves. ExDee, though, they're starting to run out of rounds. It's not as brutally CT-sided as it used to be, Nuke. But it's not like you have rounds to give away as a CT side. So ExDee certainly need to start adding some rounds to their total before the Dynamic really starts to run away with this.
Rusty, unfortunately, he was in a good position there, but he isn't able to get the trade. There's another man towards ramp, but he gets almost immediately traded. Very, very low HP. Creation does get one. On the other side of the map, he hits the lurker. But now it's a 4v4 retake, and that's how you start it off. Beast gets a first kill with an AWP. Makes some Heartbreak. Puts it into a 4v3, but one of those 3 is still the man, and the other one is Divo. So it should be quite easy hold, all things considered. Let's see if it will be. Divo is going to open things up. He takes a tiny bit of damage for his troubles. Only 20. It just becomes that much harder for ExDee, but good util is going to push him completely out of position here. He's only got 17 HP with which to play. They do nade 8, but KZR's on the bomb, but the man is going to pull them out of 1. And he's going to move up to 19 for 8, 10 for 5 for Divo as well. So he's not being left there to completely hard carry, but 156 ADR. He's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, he's just been an absolute monster for DNMK here, constantly winning rounds, either with 3k or a clever push that results in, the critical kill on the round. And ExDee just can't seem to deal with him at this point. Again, they do lose all 5 players there, so money's again in a shaky situation. But, with 7 rounds, do you really care at this point what your money's looking like? as long as you can add even one more round, I think you'll be very, very happy with a D-side nuke like that. And Canyon Heartbreak, well, they're piling on the misery here for ExDee. They know there's a fourth, and they add any more than that. Molly will go through to try and cut off Creation. He's going to try sneak up close here. Do they spray through? They do indeed. Nexus not taking any chances. And he's actually going to get caught up there by Beast. That is the second Zeus kill of the game. So ExDee leads on that total, but unfortunately Zeus kills don't actually win you rounds, ExDee. You need to actually get other... you need to use other methods.
Well, they got the meme points. That's for damn sure. They've definitely... This is the most Zeuses we've seen the whole tournament, pretty much in one half of Nuke over here. But yeah, 8 for 4. This is exactly the position DNMK, as you said, want to find themselves in. 8 rounds on the C side is very good. You kind of want a 9-6, if anything, is the average for this sort of setup. And Connie is just going to be relentless, and he's going to get a double kill towards ramp. And now that they know that there's a third there, they should just literally be grouping up and pushing the alternate sides, and they're actually going to opt to take this outside position, which has been given up to them somewhat for free. But TJ comes in and he gets a trade, which is, if he just got the 1 kill, would have been nice, but 3 versus 2 is really good for DNMK.
Just definitely didn't expect the second player to be right behind Nexus there. So Diver picks up the kill, and ExDee are in a pretty tough situation. Rusty is pinned onto the A side. He's worried about the heaven area. KZR also, he's got 1,001 things to stress about. He knows that there were players that could potentially push down ramp, but he's got no knowledge of what's coming up behind him either. So at this point, ExDee, these two players are going to have to pull off something nuts to win this round for them.
I do like his hold here in single. It gives him almost a one-man hold. I think if he went to cylinder, he would have been in a really good position to stop this front, but he gets it anyway. There's a hole in the smoke, and he hits Davo, so the bomb does go down. The trade puts it back in the realm of clutch ability. If Rusty can find a 1v1 here, he can definitely make this happen. And Heartbreak and the man are stuck on the site, so he gets the advantage in position for sure. And there's a man just close to his left. He's not going to be able to get it because the man is just too sharp. Takes his head off. First bullet out of the gun. Moves, I think, along to 21 for 8, which is absolutely disgusting. A 9-4 now for DNMK. They could throw the rest of this half and actually not even worry.
No, they definitely are in that kind of position. But I mean, you got to worry. Like, you know, it's if the man hasn't been pulling off those crazy rounds, what kind of position has DNMK going to be in? That is the one slight worry. ExDee with a bit of an odd buy here. TJ buying down to 950. The rest of the team buying to about 2,000. Possibly a miss buy there from TJ. Lots of noise being made outside by Dynamic. I mean, ideally, you set this round up to do as much as you can to help TJ out, right? You don't really want to be... Okay.
What was that from Nexus? He just hits a disgusting shot through the smoke, and TJ gets another 2. So they actually put this now to a 4v2. So Nexus and Connie are now put in the horrible position where they got to clutch it out, and they're not even together. They're not even tradable positions. And there's a failed Zeus from Beast that was going to happen, and he does 70 damage, but it's enough that Creation with a traded AK is able to take him down. And as I say, they could throw. They really actually start to do that. Connie now, though, in a 1-on-2, does put it in the realm of clutch ability. And TJ and Creation are both massively out of position for this bomb plant. So he should be able to get himself in a slightly better post-plant position, which is what he's going to try and do. Just by millimeters. Makes it in towards single.
They did spot him on the second one there. They got a smoke and a molly. Both dropped by the T players, and Kenny realizes he has to take the fight. It's not going to work out, though. Dynamic, they're not going to get the 10th. ExDee finally bringing it to some level of respectability. You're grabbing that first.
TJ was 1 HP and a 3k. Nice little round from him. So the misbuy turns it into a misdemeanor. And as they face the final round, he'll be able to keep that gun up, which is good. So they won't be on bone stock setups. They've got everything.
This might actually be their best buy of the entire half, ExDee.
I think it is actually, all things considered. It looks like it's going to be a fast top play as the man just holds W, but Rusty G is not having it. He gets the first one. Connie gets one up in the rafters. He trades out KZR, and Rusty just doing huge work here. He gets two. Davo does trade him out eventually, but there's just one player left in the form of Nexus, who's now put in a 1-on-2, and it's not going to be enough. They are going to be able to bring it back to a 9-6, albeit you'd want it the other way around as we're changing halves right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at ExDee, they started off perfectly well. Four out of the first 5 rounds, and then they just lose 8 in a row. And that's just like, you can't have that on the CT side. You need to do something. And unfortunately, it's just the CT side is so damn expensive. The Ts were constantly able to keep them on low cash. Ts weren't winning many rounds either, so ExDee did keep them a lot closer than it might appear. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, if you're not winning rounds, it is going to be a very, very rough CT half for you on Nuke. Oh, they got the tough side. Can they make it? Dynamic. Okay, playing retake on A. That's interesting, considering this is, I think, the hardest map on, or this is the hardest bomb site to retake, according to some stat I read today.
If it wasn't this, it was certainly Dust 2 before they changed the direction of the doors. So Dust 2B, I think, was the one before it. But they do have a flash in here, which is going to net them the first kill. And they go for the double flash before the push. 3 men drop in from heaven, and they actually have bomb advantage. A whole bunch of Ts are towards the squeaky position over here, and that's not really good for this bomb plant. And there's 2 more towards Hut, and they know, the CTs, that this is the only position that they can come from. So with the kit, they are able to pick up their defuse quite cleanly, with only 1 man dropping. There's 1 left over on the T side, but they get through with 4 players.
That was simultaneously very well played by Dynamic and very weirdly played by ExDee. If you have the entire bomb site, nobody's fighting you, why do you plant safe?
Yeah, no, they should have planted for mouth, especially with their retake, with their post-plant position being squeaky, right? They would have had a lot better of a time fighting from there.
Why do you play like 2 squeaky and 3 hot? It's just like, if they lock off those sides to you, it becomes so hard. TJ starting things off with a very good deagle shot here. Can he land another one? No! Nexus scalps him in return. And ExDee back into a 4 versus 4 dynamic. Do have fairly powerful weaponry, but Deagles are still on the field, or a Deagle on the field for ExDee.
And a P250, which sculpts the man. KZR gets one for himself, and they put it into a 3-on-3, which is really good going for what they basically invested. Armor, no helmet, and a couple of pistols. It's actually done the damage that they were, I think they were hoping for. Now there's 3 Famuses with full HP for them to face, but actually not a lot of util on their side. So they were able to find another kill. It would be great, but Nexus is going to make sure that that doesn't happen as he takes down KZR outside. So now it's just Rusty G and Beast in a 2-on-3. Beast does have a Zeus though. It could go very well for them, Prof.
Somehow doubt it when he's trying to fight him at range. Can he get the first one? Rusty does have that Deagle. It's got to be very, very careful. Rusty, I think a single more kill here could be a huge detriment to Dynamic's ability to hold on the CT side. Diver, though, he's gotten the call from Canny, and he's going to ride in like cavalry and knock over the last pin there for ExDee.
So, before we go any further, we do have 2 giveaways which we will be doing this evening. I'm going to kick off the first for the 250 South African Rons Steam gift voucher. So if you guys type EGL One in the chat, EGL One, one word, then you will be entered, and a sub to the channel will give you a second entry. Please don't double enter the EGL One, as the bot will remove you from that, and then you won't be in the winning at all, which will suck a lot for you. So guys, as I said, EGL One in the chat. Mr. Nobody will give you an example thereof. But the first buy round now on the T side for ExDee, they try the smoke wall outside and they leave a massive gap. So as they cross over to Secret here, it's going to be a problem for them, and Heartbreak is in the one way and he's going to get one. He does get traded out immediately, but now they've got to cross and there's this huge gap in the smokes.
Yeah, I think they see that gap and they're like, no, something's not right. TJ, though, is going to shut the door on that opportunity for Dynamic. Turns it into a 4 versus 3. He's got control of the outside as well. Dynamic must suspect this. How quickly does the timer in their head tell them to start looking at the heaven area, though? Divo's got a lot of noise coming through, and the dual fighting ability of the man and Divo turn things around. 3 versus 2. The man is very low. Divo, the timer in his head, though, should be telling him somebody's going to be sneaking up on him, and it's not going to happen. KZR gets 2. TJ assassinates him, and that will be that. Dynamic somehow lose a round at various times. They look quite favored to win.
Yeah, they go down 11-7 now. So the first big bar round does work out for ExDee. It is costly though, as they lose 3 players in the act, and there's a force bar actually coming out from DNMK. They hit up 2 M4s, very light util, and it's basically a deco plus 2 M4s.
It depends on how they're going to use it. So Canny's been shifted now on top of the hut and Diver. So they're going to be actually holding the upper area. The man continues. Fantastic performance of the second kill here. And Canny is going to do some damage as well. All of a sudden, ExDee looking a little bit shaky on what should be a round that they had all rights to win. The man moving again. Deagle, do they expect it here? Rusty is going to need to land the second shot. Not going to land it. The recoil getting him there, but Rusty does go down. Heartbreak trading him out, and it's heartbreak for ExDee if they end up losing this. Shots come through there. KZR. KZR back.
I see his nickname's doing a thing to your brain. I can't say I blame you though. It's very close.
And Beast, KZ are probably going to have to just group up and make a play for the same site here. Beast is in no man's land at this point. Well played there by Beast. Sneaks around, catches Heartbreak out, does give his position away. But at this point, kills are more important than position. And KZR gets second. He knows there's a second player up behind him, though. Huge damage dealt to both players. Can KZR get himself out of trouble here? He's going to dodge the flash. Oh! And Nexus brains him, leaving it all up to Beast now. He has got a kill to start off the round. He's got the bomb on his back and 17 seconds to get it planted. Gonna punch those numbers in now as Dynamic hears the digits being pushed and will get into position themselves.
I really like this move from Beast to leave these doors open as well. He opens it up so they have to clear all the corners in this general direction, but he's nowhere near there. He's on the site, tucked safely in behind. So they are going to, well, Nexus, based on this position, they're going to break those windows. So now he knows where at least one of them are. And Connie and Nexus are going to play this out together, so at least they will be in tradable positions. Connie's going to drop the smoke onto the bomb. He goes to hold the defuse. No kit on him, so it's just going to be a full 10 seconds. He sprays in, and he's not going to be able to get the kill. Nexus gets him before the time, and Connie is going to get that bomb just in time with a few seconds left over to spare. They managed to get the defuse and clutch. He had a good position, all things considered. I think if he peeked out there a little bit earlier for info before that smoke went down, he would have maybe actually won that round.
I think what he needed to do is, as the smoke got dropped, he probably needed to try and take the fight with Canny at that point. Because at that point you have to gamble. As soon as the smoke goes down, it makes it so much more difficult, because then you're spraying with the second person potentially just shooting you as you're doing exactly what happened essentially. Still, ExDee in with a shot at this round. Tech 9s and that running accuracy is a deadly combination. Creation first man to go down. Aggression from the man. And the Nexus is doing huge damage to the smoke there. Nobody else really contributing. Diver and Heartbreak combined for one. Diver adds a second. KZR just running for the hills now, trying to get the bomb plant if he can. He's got Beast very close behind as KZR runs point for him. Can he do anything further than that? Gives his position away there as Beast. Does he get a kill? No, he doesn't. And Nexus cleans things up.
The man on an absolutely colossal 25 for 13 right now.
I just want to point out he was 21 for 8, so this is actually unacceptable from him. He's only
is it?
5 deaths.
Okay, so his 2KD is 1.92. It has to be a 2, right? Otherwise, it's just
That's not acceptable right now. The man has to get like at least 3 kills on this round to turn things around.
Look, he increased his ADR by 10 though, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt for the time being. And TJ towards outside catches Heartbreak. He was trying to make a play over towards red, gets himself caught out, and he gets his head taken off. And it is a full set of AKs from ExDee with a partial buy from DNMK. They actually had the money to invest into the round, but opted to stay on the MP9. So the man and Heartbreak with MP9s, the rest with rifles, and a very handy AK over on Nexus, which is great for T's pushing into you. Gives you one tap headshot potential. You don't have to double dink them up. But I like this from DNM or from ExDee so far. They've just been playing super patient. They get themselves a 5v3 as Nexus goes down with that all-important AK-47. Now there's 3T split between 2 bomb sites with huge rotational distances in between them here on Nuke.
Yeah, it's all up to the man. He basically has to make a play here. And not really the weapon that you want to try and make a play at range with the MP9. It's all about his timing. If you can catch TJ, it massively compromises XD's ability to hit that A bomb site. The man's going to sneak through. Does he spot him? He does indeed. He's going to win that fight. An all-important one, as we pointed out, as the B bomb site is going to be XD's point of attack here. 4 players down there. Dynamics still in with a chance to win, but it is very difficult for them. Sprays are going to work out. Huge damage dealt to the Beast. Diver at this point has gone down. 1 versus 1 here for the man. He's able to add only 1 to the tally. KZR and Beast clean things up, and XD grab themselves an 8th.
So, XD up to 8 rounds, 13 in the bag for DNMK, and based on this trajectory and this pace, 2-1, 2-1, they should be closing this out in perhaps the next few minutes. So before that happens, I think it's time for us to roll the dice down the alleys of fate as we get our first winner for the evening. We'll be doing the Evesports or EveTech, at least, Neo backpack a little bit later in the evening. So production, please do the roll. Let's get our first winner here.
XD doing whatever they can to try and pull this back. Still in with a shot, but dynamic. The as you said, low buy in the last round has meant that they can full buy on this one, maybe. XD weren't expecting it at the start, but as soon as they hear the sounds of those M4s, they'll know it. And Nexus, he knows KZR shot him in the face. Not the best way to find that out, but just how things go down. KZR is pretty damn good at this point. 16 for 13. As he's had a quietly impressive game on a number of rounds, and Heartbreak getting aggressive through the door there with that AWP. Needs to be very careful with his positioning though, as now he's got the man called out. Diver also going down. Heartbreak at close range. That AWP is next to useless, and it's all uncanny now. Did famously win that 1v4 at Rage 3 years ago. Can he add another one to the tally? Not quite. Gets the first kill, almost the second, but does eventually go down.
And while we were busy with the round there, Mr. BTQ Prem, congratulations on winning that. Mr. Nobody will be able to sort you out. You can DM him your details, and we will get that voucher over to you right away. But yes, back to the CS. 9 for 13. A nice little comeback there from XD. Beast as well. He's been extremely quiet over the last few weeks, and it's really good to see him back in performing kind of condition. And this squeaky rush is ill-advised because KZR is waiting in the bar after, and they clean it up without any damage coming through to them. So they get some nice economic standpoints. Do XD. DNMK, I don't see them forcing. Yeah, okay, Connie's made the decision for them, so it seems like they are going to force. There's going to be no head arm on them for obvious reasons.
I think I would agreed with you there. I would have just gone for the double save at that point. Give them the 11th, but to make certain you can get full set of utility, because now you're running in the with like M4s and I mean, not much in the way of utility. What's that? 4 smokes, a couple of flashes, and a grenade. It's going to be a rough one to try and take it in the late round.
No, definitely. And I think DNMK feeling somewhat confident, though. The man continuing to pop off, just absolutely destroying what Beast doing a good job too. Well, everybody, I think the key thing here for XD is everybody's pretty much pitched up to the day. To be honest, everybody's throwing in here, and it looks like there's going to be a smoke play towards outside as they set up the smokes from T-spawn. They're going to look to push into Heartbreak over here. He's waiting for them in secret, and he's actually got himself quite a nice little one-way. He's going to push out into it, catch some flashes, which is going to slow him down initially. Now going to spam in his general direction. When those shots hit, he peeks out and he gets destroyed by Rusty G. Nexus sprays the smoke, and he's able to take down the low HP creation as he goes for the crossover. So moves into a 4v4. And ooh, Beast hits a nice shot into the man as he tries to peek out of mouth in towards secret, gets his head taken off. And I don't like that. I really don't like that peek. He over aggressing there. And puts his team in the back of a 3v4, which Davo now turns into a better position. And Nexus, being a sneaky lad in the outside, is managing to pick up Rusty G, and now it goes into a 2v2. This is going to be an expensive round for both teams, all things considered. So you've got to look at the loss bonus building up for DNMK, and think that they're
Oh,
just in a slightly better position, but Kenny in a great position down here. He is able to pick up one, and I like this. This is much better. He gets the kill, and he pulls back, and TJ's going to be forced to push into him, thinking he's completely gone. But Kenny, sitting like a snake in the grass, just down that staircase, manages to close out the round. 14-10 DNMK.
Great aggression there by Divo, pushing up behind them, and he spots them at a critical time. Rise is about to go on secret, feeding the info to Canny. And also like the fact that Canny just decided to hide. Yeah, it was like 14 seconds or something left, so he basically forces the guy to either fight him or try and get the bomb plant, both of which will favor Canny. So Dynamic get that 14th round. Not looking great in terms of the money, though. Still, as early fights are going the way of Dynamic big time. Beast has taken huge amounts of damage as well, and Rusty has been sent to the grave. Dynamic will be quite happy with the start to the 20.
Both teams just soaking up some util, making their opponents get that util out before they try to go for any more pushes. 3-5 is not the end of the world. If you can find a nice clean opening towards any of the sites, it's very, very doable for the T's. Beast is super low, and he does an AWP, which is not the most ideal for pushing these positions on Nuke.
No. She's going to be tasked with holding an angle as they do make the inevitable trudge down the ramp to the B side. Dynamic just holding position at the moment. Know that they're in a massively favored situation, so don't need to get too crazy or anything. And the utility flying into the B-bomb site will let Canny know that he's got company. And he's going to... Oh, nearly gets that kill. Still, huge amounts of damage dealt. And Nexus is going to pop in, try and assist there. But all of ExDee is in here, and a lot of utility expelled. ExDee deciding that they'd rather go to the A-bomb site as the nade does land. The man gets the Kobe. It's all up to KZR and Creation, though. Can they pull something out? It's going to be perfect for Dynamic. They don't lose a single player on the round, and they grab themselves a 15th.
So nice setup here for DNMK for match point. Poor ExDee have to force up into this. They have absolutely no more options, being pushed to the brink. A good performance from them, all things considered. DNMK traditionally quite a strong team.
As well for DNMK, so
100%. And they're going to go for a top push here, which might be a bit foolhardy here, and they get absolutely minced by the man Nexus and Divo. He just destroy them, and it's just poor TJ now left in a 1-on-5, and he's not going to be able to do anything. And that is going to be map 1 going the way of DNMK quite comfortably, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit shaky there at the start, but from that 5th round, or from the 6th round on the T side, they just looked in complete control of the map at many times. And you can't say much more than that. DNMK led by the man in full force, just stomp the back end of that game over ExDee.
100%. And now we move into My Rage, or Dust 3, as it's colloquially known, where DNMK will be starting off on the CT side. So we are going to take a short break. We should be back in the next 5 minutes for map 2 of this lower bracket semi-final. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the EGL One main event lower bracket semi-final, which is happening right now between ExDee and DNMK. If you're just joining us, DNMK did close out the nuke map 1610 and quite comfortably, all things considered. They didn't look like they were overly struggling, but ExDee do have the potential to make a meal of it. And especially with Beast absolutely shredding people with tasers. He got 2 taser kills in that half, which is the most that we've seen in a half, which was the most that we had seen in the entire tournament so far.
Damn near got a third, and you certainly did attempt a fourth. Let's give him that.
He did. He really did. He hit 70 on one of them, which was very, very close. One thing I'll also have to point out right now is if you notice our normal design wasn't quite ready for the sudden prophecy replacement. So we enlisted the services of Mr. Nobody, who is available in chat for commission. So if you are looking for top snipping type design, the boy Nobody is there to help you. But getting back to the CS, Mr. Prof, what do you think is going to happen on Dust 3?
I mean, Mirage is it's a very open map. I mean, I hate the map because I'm just, you know, it's like, you know how you hate a map when you're not good at it? That's basically Mirage for me. And yet every ace I've ever gotten, I think, has been on Mirage. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a map that like favors skill, I think, a lot more than it does strategy. So ExDee will be quite happy to take this map. You know, they are a team that's splitting up at the end of the season. They don't have many games left. I think it's this one and possibly the losers match after this. So ExDee will be quite happy to take this map. Dynamic, they certainly do have the firepower to take the fight, but it's one of those like, do you want to give ExDee any chance on these kind of maps? That is the thing. It is ExDee's pick, but Dynamic also can't be too gung-ho and take those silly kind of fights where you just trying to out-aim the guy down Mirage or trying to out-aim the guy running up T-ramp. So do need to be careful here for DNMK, but I do think they have it.
Definitely, especially like I said earlier, Rusty had a lights out performance on this map, a comfy 30 bomb from him with some of the sickest. I mean, he had a Deeg 4K clutch in the middle of a round, and it literally, while retaking B, sprays GG on the wall and then hits one of the sickest 1 Deegs I've ever seen. So it can happen. Rusty especially has proven that he can do the damage for this ExDee team. He's, for me, been the standout player from this lineup for this tournament at least. And I think, like you said, DNMK just need to be a little bit respectful of that and just play their game carefully and slow down when they need to. But we are going live with the pistol round as DNMK starting on the CT side, ExDee Gaming starting on the T side.
Yeah, ExDee start on the more difficult side, although this is a very, very balanced map, so ExDee won't be too stressed about starting on T side, although it can get pretty damn difficult to crack open a site when you've got a player like the man stamping his authority on the map. At this point, Dynamic don't really have anything set up to actually defend the A-bomb site yet. It's just Canny in his old favorite spot sitting behind ticket box there. No AWP this time, though. Just the silenced pistol.
The push comes in and they make it all the way over to jungle, and there's a man on stairs who they haven't dealt with. Literally, it is the man on stairs. Heartbreak has pushed himself into the corner here. He's waiting for support, but it's not going to come through in time. A flurry of frags happen, and there's 3 odd that have been traded. Now it's just Davo left in a 1-on-2 versus Rusty, who's close to him in connector. He's going to be able to get the 1 tap on him. No support from TJ, who's there on default on the side. Davo seems to be aware of this, and he starts tapping away. He starts taking the fight. Gets in some damage towards TJ, but nothing definitive. TJ can 1 tap at this range with the Glock, and he is going to be able to do it. And he manages to take the pistol round with a plant, all things considered. Gets ExDee quite a fair amount of cash.
Yeah, tons of cash there for ExDee. I think Divo just sort of, not quite panicking, but a little bit too much thought on the fact that he only had 2 rounds in the pistol to end that off. So tried to get sneaky when usually you just reload and take the fight. But still, Divo brought it down from 1 versus 3 to a 1 versus 1. So can't take anything away from him there. ExDee, what do they have planned for the first anti-eco here? Mid control is the order of the day. And Dynamic, they do have quite a few deagles, so it's a dangerous map for those weapons. As Nexus and Canny take a bit of damage to start the thing off.
And quite a large stack from DNMK over towards the B bomb side. It does mean that A through connector should be quite an easy take if they can get there. And Connie pushes through the smoke and he gets himself two. The D coming in, but Creation normalizes it. Heartbreak brings one back and it goes to a 2-on-2. This is not what ExDee want in this position. They won the first round. They were expecting to emphatically win the second. Creation does manage to take down Davo. And him and KZ are going to be able to secure this B bomb site, but both of them are in one-shot territory. If Heartbreak can net himself a decent weapon, which he does, he gets himself a Galil as he pushes through Cat here. He can actually win this. He gives up his position now. There is some spam back, so he will be aware that they can see towards him. He's going to play out the smoke, and now he's going to be pushing in towards both players on the B bomb side. They double swing him, and they managed to take the round. Creation with a really big one there. I think he had a 4K.
Yeah, 4K there from Creation, but very well played by ExDee. They're realizing that both are low, taking the chance that they, get caught out. Both swing, get the kill, and that's what they needed to do there. Dynamic will be once again buying up Deagles, keeping their money at reasonable levels here. Some utility as well to back them up, but the old double save to make certain that they got full utility onto the fourth and first gun round. Heartbreak does some damage there.
And the T is just looking for that top mid control at the moment. They probably going to leave one or two in mid and rather rotate into a place with less attention, and it looks like that place is going to be A, and the man is on the angle and he sees so many towards T, and he gets the man fighting him. He gets a second. Rusty and the Beast get taken down by the man's Deagle. He gets himself 2 quick kills, puts his team in a 5v3 and withdraws, which is absolutely lights out play from him once again. It looks like he's going to be the man to beat. Carney pushing through connector, catches KZR out. He was looking towards Lowe's. And at the top of mid, it's Nexus battling it once again with a D. They get a clean deco. That's unthinkable.
And only 2 players actually saw anybody in that round. That is absolutely crazy. The man and Nexus just doing huge amounts of work. I think, Kenny did get the 1 kill.
Kenny did as well, yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's crazy. ExDee just getting caught out there, not realizing that they were up against a second save. And just not respecting it, as we said. It's one thing that Dynamic had to do. ExDee, they need to respect the fact that Dynamic can get very, very aggressive on the T side, sorry, on the CT side of the map as well.
And they were very good at doing it. I mean, the man, that position he got through Palace was just sick. And it looks like it's going to be an A push here with a semi-buy from ExDee as they're now pushing into rifles. They're not checking their corners, and Connie's going to make them pay for it, keeping them honest. As KZR and the man also chime in for kills with their own. Nexus gets another one to take them ahead and a second. So now it's a 3v1 with just TJ left over, and his Heartbreak is going to clean him up. Very quick round there to bring it back to 2-2. Nicely done from DNMK. Only to lose 2 players in the last 2 rounds does mean their bank is looking quite healthy. Yeah,
it's looking very healthy at this point, and ExDee will have to take a second save force up in that last one, costing them this one as well, and it's going to be much less deadly. Dynamic well on their way to a very fat bank balance right now. They definitely invested in Bitcoin when it was good.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of beers being bought here by the players on the after this game, that's for sure. They've got the dollars in the bank to do so. Beer a lot cheaper than bullets, which is great. And the man opening things up here, though, he gets one in Palace as he's going super aggressive here once again, and he's got the bomb. And now in towards Connector is the remainder of the ExDee team, but they don't have a bomb, so everything here it could be for naught. And Carney's keeping them honest as he gets another one. KZR does manage to take down Nexus, but it's not going to be enough, and they get another 3-man through.
Yeah, and money is just starting to overflow here for Dynamic. They could lose this next round and still be in a healthy position to buy for the next 2. So ExDee, they definitely have to get a groove on now with the rounds. This is, of course, their map pick. At the very least, they need to take it to a 3rd. And at the moment, Dynamic looking fit as a fiddle going into the 6th round here, and the AWP has finally come out now for Heartbreak.
It is a buy round for the T's as well, so we'll see what they can do on their first real buy.
He wasn't spotted running into the smoke. He could make a huge play here. Does the timing work out for him? Oh, Rusty caught him at the right time.
Now they push in from Cat onto B. Diver is on the back of the bomb site here to receive. There's a man close, which he doesn't know about. TJ is going to give him some AK-47 dental. The full discovery, comprehensive cover plan. Completely resets his jawline. And there's just Connie and Heartbreak left over here. They can buy in the next round, but maybe without an AWP. Nexus only has 2.5 before the 1,600, what's it? 1,600 cash injection, right? On the after that, and Connie gets taken down as well. He didn't. Oh, he's got decent cash, but Heartbreak's only got 1,000. Rusty G's going to be able to kill him as well, so they make it extremely expensive. Do ExDee, bringing it back to a 3-3, winning their first real buy.
Yeah, and very well played there, but just the speed from ExDee through mid, their dynamic not quite expecting it. Very nearly turned it around them with, I think it was the man pushing up through the smoke, but got caught out by Rusty there with a very well-timed check behind. And ExDee pulling things back, kept quite a few players alive, so money is looking a lot healthier. Dynamic have tapped into their reserves, try and get an AWP into Canny's hands this round. Heartbreak goes down again. That slightly missed smoke in mid is going to work out in ExDee's favor.
Creation gets a second onto Nexus, means that they've got basically complete cat control.
Divo's got so much work to do here.
He's going to get just TJ though. Beast takes him down. So now it's a 2-on-4 once again. It is the man and Connie. They're going to be calling on.
Just save.
Connie's going to look for damage. He is going to get one, but nah, surely he James in the 1-on-3. He's got to be careful though, because Creation is in position to hit him up with a backstab, and he's become aware of the fact and decides to.
Canny's making noises running. No, he's got to be super worried about where anybody's coming from now.
Creation is in a really mean spot here. They're going to flash him out and go for it, which is the good call, because you don't want to let that AWP remain, and they are going to be able to take it down. They could have taken him after time, all things considered, which would have just been extra money bashing, but they still only got
anything. Yeah,
they still only got $2K, so
still ExDee will be quite pleased with that. Three players alive in both of the last 2 rounds, and set themselves up pretty well here. Dynamic, we were just saying that they were looking good to start off, but ExDee has struck back with a vengeance. Is Dynamic now going to try the mid control, but ExDee already have a plan that is going to care about this as much as.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. How did the man get 2 kills there? Or a kill there with a USP, I don't understand.
He got the double dink as they were pushing out of ramp. A huge nade goes in towards Connector from Creation, does massive damage onto Davo. He's on a whole 14 HP.
Oh, the man. Does he get another kill? He's going to get a knife.
Oh, he is in the smoke. The man, like a snake in the grass. And another one from Heartbreak up from behind means that they're going to a 3-on-2. They don't overplay their hand here. They could be in to take this round, but Heartbreak is going to be caught out by KZR. So ExDee put themselves in a winning condition here once again. There's only 2 players to contest with, both of them a little bit low. And Creation's going to get the first, and he's going to be continuously peeking into Carney. Almost takes him down, manages to get himself out of dodge, back into the connector. But he's in a horrible position here, all things considered. He does a nice jump out of the connector space to put him back towards the site. Creation is super low, but it's not going to matter. He is going to be able to take his head off. A very expensive round for ExDee, as considering that was a deco. But Creation with an absolutely lights out map so far. 12 for 4. Just smashing through this DNMK.
Yeah, he's looking very, very good on the map here at the moment for ExDee. And they need him to continue doing this. As everybody sort of contributed in the last round. Sorry, on the last map, but nobody really took charge. And I think that was probably the difference of it. Dynamic. They had the man going crazy, and he's not going crazy on this map as yet. Lots of assists, not many kills in the column, so needs to be a little bit more clinical there. There's ExDee back to mid control. This time Dynamic a lot more passive. Last 2 times that they did lose quite a few players attempting to combat mid. All brings out, and that is what Canny and especially Dynamic will want to gap in that smoke there.
The interim, Rusty G in mid does manage to find Heartbreak to make this a 4v4. They are going to look to continue this B pressure, which has been working out for them super, super well. Beast is lurking over towards Palace, and he's actually going to find the man as he goes for the rotate, which is absolutely fantastic for them. After this bomb plant, it will be a lot harder to retake without him, but Carney and Nexus come flying out of the apps position, or out of the marker position at least, and they get 2, and now it's just Beast who is on the rotate. They are very, very aware of this, and Carney's got it posted. He should be able to close this out, and he does. So actually, with a little bit of a worse buy, DNMK managed to convert, and that's after a 3 in a row. So they do break the momentum somewhat of ExDee, but they're still behind a round, and they honestly, I think, probably want a 9-6 half for the CT side.
Yeah, you'd be aiming for about that. ExDee doesn't have crazy cash either. I mean, TJ will have just a Deagle, the rest of them running AKs and some utility, so not as healthy as we would have thought after that 3-round streak. Dynamic though, aggressive down the A ramp. Finally get those words out. As the man makes quite a bit of noise, so ExDee will be aware of this, knowing that at least some of their information has been figured out.
He does net himself a lot of information in doing so. However, the call is probably clear, boys. There's nothing here towards ramp. The T's now do rotate in, so perhaps countering their info plays of their own. It could be 200 IQ. We'll have to see. The man is waiting on the pixel peak with a smoke ready for this push. We'll have to see what he can get done here. He spots him out. He does drop it. He does it in MP9, nice and close range, which is exactly where you want to be with this. 2 dinks and you're out of there. And they actually need to be a little bit careful of mid. The Nexus boy over here is looking... Okay, he suddenly turns, as I said, as if he heard me from the bar after, because Beast has gotten himself actually quite an advanced position over here, and they could pincer maneuver in here quite nicely. He's going to start spraying through connectors, so they make it, put it in within the realm of possibility, and that means that 3 players are going to be sticking towards A. Nexus does go down to Beast on the after that. There's only 2 players in towards B here as the push does come through. They're going to jump out of apps, but Davo has changed up his position really nicely, and he's netted himself 2. He goes for the 3rd, but he runs out of bullets. Heartbreak is there to support him, and now it's just Rusty G in a 1-on-3. Heartbreak's not going to overpeak. Connie's going to play the window position. He's going to take the kill. Actually, the door position. Mind me correcting myself on that one. And they pull through a 3v5.
Yeah,
brilliantly level.
Yeah, brilliantly played there by Davo. He does get 2 kills, but it's the 3rd. Just the amount of time that it takes them to get rid of him that buys Dynamic that round. ExDee unfortunately couldn't clear him quickly enough, and they're back on the save. 3 grenades and a smoke. Looks like it is going to be that window nuke. Is it going to land? 2 of them landed. 3 of them landed. No damage.
Huge pace of CS just happens all of a sardine as they all push in from Cat, and 3 T's go down. Make that a 4th as Davo cleans up him as well. Rusty G manages to knock Nexus on the other side of the map. How did that even...
What just snuck up behind him in lowers or something.
Okay, well, good job, Rusty, on that one, but really good job, DNMK.
They could potentially buy an AWP. Not. ExDee has been remarkably gun-shy on purchasing the AWP, especially on T-side Mirage.
Yeah, I don't think they... I mean, who do they even natively give it to? That's a permanent sort of AWP. Beast did have a good...
Beast was running with it on Nuke, but he hasn't used it at all on Mirage. Probably just a confidence thing, you know, if you're feeling it, maybe you go to the AWP this time, not.
I'm not too big of a fan of it, and if you're struggling with mid control, then you almost definitely have to pull one up, right? But for the interim, they seem to... Mid control hasn't been the issue. It's just closing out these rounds. When they do get into the bomb site, they're going to go through Cat to B again. But this is just becoming a little bit stale now, and DNMK manages to take 3 before there is a reply. TJ does manage to get 1. KZR taken down now as well, and Carney just sits on the angle, cleans it up. 14 for 6. He's just activated now, and the man doesn't really need to. Davo and him are going to carry this map out, apparently. Both of them sitting just over 100 ADR. Carney with a 2.3 KD as we go into round number 13.
No, I mean, I like the description you used there, stale, because ExDee, you know, they use that fast mid tech through short and into B on at least 3 occasions now. And you could see just that last time DNMK has started to read it and they know that it's coming. ExDee just doesn't really have an answer. Can he? Do you have an answer to keep missing? Please stop missing. Can he? It's just one of those, just like the AWP's broken, guys. It's not, somebody else trade me the AWP, it's not working.
And he gets put on 15 HP against the Tech 9. If that was a D, he would have been dead. So he's going to be counting his lucky stars, actually, all things considered.
Had 3 goes with the AWP, missed them all.
Should be somewhat of a formality round for DNMK. They should be looking to close out this round quite easily against this Deco. Rusty and Co have been known to do some disgusting things. Luckily, he's sitting with a Tech 9. Luckily for DNMK, a nice peek out from Dustin. Sick last bullet, 1 tap onto KZR. Yo, as that was looking like it was going to be anticlimactic for him, he does such a sick little 1 tap there to go 8-5. DNMK restoring a lot more momentum, and it's actually just increasing. It's gone from 2 survive to 3 to 4 to a full 5 on the after of that. It is now a full buy though for ExDee. They do just need someone else to come online though. It can't just be a creation show.
Yeah, the problem is, especially on Mirage, because it is such an easy map to take fights with, if only one of your players is really popping off, it makes your life very, very difficult when trying to shut out rounds. And it started to work there in the mid rounds, or in the middle of the half, but the adaptation and Diver coming to life has meant that ExDee have really struggled to maintain that. Also, the AWP on Canny has been very effective once he's picked it up.
There's a rush happening in the interim, and there's a miss shot from the man onto creation. He fluffs the spray and gets taken down, which leads to a bomb plant. And now it's a 4v5 retake for the T's. This is about the best position they've been in on a bar. Creation is going to take down Heartbreak, but look at KZR. He's got the round down in his hands, and he's going to take down Nexus and Connie as he does a late lurk through connector from lowers. Manages to set himself up nicely. Davo is going to look to probably just get some damage in here. They do have huge bank, do DNMK from that now what was a 5 in a row. This does look like it is going to be going the way of ExDee, and they could do this cleanly as well. And they will. Davo gets taken down by Beast at the end of it. So a much better round for ExDee, all things considered. And if they can actually finish this 8-7, that's a really good opening half.
Yeah, it looked a bit sketchy in the early rounds, but they've done a very, very good job to pull things about as level as you can get it. But DNMK, there's just a couple of timing issues in that last round. Heartbreak falling off of the ticket box, and Canny, and I think it was Canny and Nexus getting caught out by KZR pushing through the lowers. So ExDee at this point getting as good as they've gotten. DNMK are ahead, but not by much.
Look at the man. He's over this. He's tired of getting assists. He's looking for the big damage in mid. He's pushed up all the way to the top, waiting for the util to come out, and he does have Heartbreak watching his back on the AWP, holding out of the window area. He's just going to be a little bit careful of lows, but he's going to push up mid, and he's going to get 2, make that 3. All just falls apart. He gets a 4th in lowers. Absolutely sick round from the man to close it out. They go 9-6 up in the half. Davo, Connie, and the man all getting positive KDs in their team. Pretty much all on 180 on. Like I say, it's just been creation, pretty much. And he just can't carry everything by himself.
Yeah, the thing is, a couple of the ExDee players have done, have had big rounds. But it's just they haven't been able to string them together. It's one player here, a player there doing some damage. But Creation's only one's consistently racking up the numbers. It must be said, the man has been fairly quiet on this map until the last round there. And obviously that 2K on the deco early in the half. He's the distraction on this round, though, as DNMK look as though they're about to walk into a completely open B site.
And even using util in towards it, it's almost superfluous when the only players in market, and he's not even contesting. He's going towards A. And they've actually moved the bomb in towards A. This could be a fluff from DNMK. They get two of themselves taken down. There was a completely open B site. They had the info. And they get absolutely destroyed as they try and push in through here. The man coming up from ramp, Connie, is on the lurk. He's going to give up his position now. He's aware that there might be a player close. Is he going to double check? No, he isn't. And that's going to cost him his life. Now it's just the man. Can he channel... I was going to say do a Zivu P250 maneuver for us, but he's going to get taken down. That was a really weird bit of play there. They had the info. B was open.
They must have had the info. Like, there's no way they could have had the info unless Canny was just like mega paranoid. Like, there's no way this bomb site's open. Like, that was super strange from both teams, actually. You know, you'd think it'd at least have somebody spotting at B, but ExDee didn't really even have that dynamic, though. Just the call to go A was like super weird. Still, ExDee start off as exactly how they wanted to go.
Prof, do you see what Beast is holding right now?
Yes, I do. It's the magic wagon.
I'm excited. The alligator is out. Rusty G opens things up though towards top mid, takes down Davo. So they're going to go up 5-4, which is absolutely fantastic for them. And he's going to, between Rusty and KZR, they're going to string two more together. Nexus does get one of his own, but he eats a nade for his troubles. And that does mean that the alligator is going to strike and take one down. The death roll.
I will just point out that Beast played inner on Nuke and didn't use this gun, which is actually criminal, especially if you're going for like the memes.
And he gets another one. But he stacks up some big cash on the after that. Oh, it warms the cockles of my heart to see it in play at all. It's sort of...
I mean, look, as big of a meme as that gun is, it does actually have a couple of spots where it's actually pretty useful.
Yeah,
on top of the hut on Nuke, a ramp on Mirage has a CT. Like, there's not many spots. Those are probably the only two that you'd ever get, but it is still an incredibly powerful gun if you're not expecting to walk around a corner and get blatted in the face twice.
Or even once if you've got that kind of shot in you, right? I think it can be nasty. There we go. There's the prime example. Beast put on 20 HP for his troubles. Does manage to pick up an AK, which is great. The man gets naded to absolute death. 14 HP left on him. And it's a bit of a, well, like a quasi-buy from DNMK. They do have a bunch of AKs and armor, but that's about it. There's some util that they came into the round with, but a lot of that's been expended now, and they haven't taken a bomb site. So they've got to basically use two flashes and a smoke to secure something somewhere. And Connie is going to open things up towards B and get one as he's coming out of apps. He's going to push over here, but Rusty G is ready and waiting. They do get another kill over towards A, and KZR from behind is going to kill Davo in the connector position. And now it's a 2-on-2 with just 11 HP on Heartbreak on 14 on the man. This should be a bit of a write-off.
It all depends on the angles. Heartbreak's got a pretty wicked one here. If they try sneak through the murder hole, they might very well get caught out. Timing, though, Heartbreak. Does he turn around again? Nope, ExDee's going to play it safe. They're going to both go towards CT. Heartbreak's timing. Does it work out? It does indeed. He's going to get the first kill. That's Rusty going down. The man, though, still very, very low. KZR is in low enough HP that the scout could be the end of him. It's going to do the first bit of damage and the second. The man puts a bullet in him, and that'll be the end of that. Dynamic grab their 10th, and ExDee suddenly the money not looking too healthy. The Beast, though, running around with that shotgun, has collected not an inconsiderable amount of money.
Yes, that he has done, man. Coming into this round with 5,000 USD, so he's going to be able to buy an AWP on the next round, which is exactly what he's going to save for. He's going to stop buying at 3,200, and will this be it will have to be a double save because they've only got one round lost bonus. But look at him at top mid. He's pushed right up into their faces, but Kanye and Heartbreak are ready. Rusty was the enigma or the unknown variable, and he manages to get one. The man gets creation. This should actually be just a formality at this point. KZR with a dig. Let's see if he can get some damage. He does. He gets the man a first shot. He gets a second one onto Connie, so that's nice going to take them down to 2 men left over, because the 3 that they killed only all have sub 4,000. So they're also going to be put in a bit of a quasi-buy position. I definitely see XD saving this one, but we right now in the lull are going to run the next giveaway for that EveTech Neo backpack with 800 South African rand, sponsored to us by Uncle EveTech. So guys, EGL One in the chat, one word. Please do not double entry because you will take yourself out. If you put it in the third time, you'll put yourself back in, but that's a lot of effort. So just hit us up with a subscribe for your second entry, and then you will be good to go. KZR, big damage though as we get back into the round. This shouldn't be going like this, but it is, and Creation is going to clutch it out. DNMK lose a gimme.
I'm confused. What the hell happened? Dynamic
just threw a smoke and got destroyed, pretty much.
I was just very, like, it's just sort of like that, you know, generally like the rule is when you're playing against what should be an anti-eco is take your time, don't get too aggressive, and check your angles. Dynamic didn't take their time. They just pushed in, and like, you know, you can only check so many angles in so you know, in so short a time. But it just didn't feel like they did any of the above. Still, XD giving themselves a chance of winning this. Flash is going to catch TJ. Does he actually know that the players are in this bomb site? No, he's going to catch Heartbreak and makes an absolute meal of getting that kill. And things could be on here for Dynamic. It is a 3 versus 2, but make that a 2 versus 2 as the man hits an absolutely wonderful shot. It's not going to land that one onto Creation, though. AWP rings out as Nexus is going to try and rescue what is a very winnable round here for DNMK. Oh, wonderful flick there to take Beast down. And Creation, that AWP means it's a one-hit, one-kill for probably both of these players. In Nexus, wonderfully well played there. Creation, just not certain of his position, gets aggressive, and that is the end of that. Dynamic immediately breaks XD right back. And Money not looking too healthy on either side, but Dynamic come out of it looking the better in terms of the weaponry they've got to use.
Yeah, XD is a bit all over the place. They're going to equalize by with TJ grabbing himself an M4. But this should be at least more structured, I'm hoping, from DNMK, so that we can roll the giveaway. Guys, get your entries in, because at the end of this round we are going to roll the second giveaway for that EveTech Neo backpack. As the action continues, yeah, TJ is able to get some damage, but the man just cleans him up so quickly. He's finally come online, back on top of the scoreboard where he belongs. Much more comfortable seeing him there. KZR, just with a P twice 50. What can he do?
Oh, it is a supernova, so maybe he can blow our minds. Not at that range, though. He actually does hit Canny in the face.
So close to being a kill. It's a little bit, maybe a little bit unlucky, but DNMK moved to a 13-9 position. 2 more rounds and it's map point. There really needs to be just a little bit more consistency from XD. They need to just string a couple of rounds in a row. Beast just struggling after having such a good nuke. Only 9 for 18. Bottom of the scoreboard. Creation 18 for 14. He's also slowed down. Rusty G not quite pitching up the way we used to seeing him. That's a nice shot from Heartbreak into Connector. He takes down KZR. It is just another deco though, so it should be somewhat of a formality. There's a player towards Connector, which I haven't quite spotted out yet, which is Beast. He's going to get taken down eventually. Maybe not. TJ makes a meal of it, though, and he gets one off of Cat and gets some damage in towards Nexus as well. He's managed to pick himself up an AWP. It does get taken out of his hands by Davo quite shortly after that. But Creation has the bomb. He's actually... What has happened here? He's in T-spawn, sitting on the bomb, and here comes Connie to collect. He's going to get in a lot of damage. Almost misses.
Yeah, it's these, like... It's the fast rounds that are catching Dynamic out. They sort of like they're almost in too much of a hurry to end the round, and it ends up costing them because they just overlook positions that XD could be holding. They don't necessarily check all their corners, and XD are able to cause them a lot more problems than they should be, especially with the amount of investment that they commonly carrying into those. I mean, last round they keep 3 alive, but it could have gotten very shaky with 1 or 2 luckier shots from the XD boys.
A hugely important round now for XD. If they lose this, it's almost murder she wrote. DNMK wanting to close this out and progress further in this tournament 100%. ExDee with the tournament lives on the line. What do they do? Heartbreak manages to get the first. Divo manages to get the second. This is not how you want to start things off, and he throws a nice nade, which Nexus backs up with some damage, and they immediately pull it into a 5-on-2. Now it's seemingly impossible for TJ and KZR to make a comeback from here, but crazier things have happened. And Connie just makes it that much harder by taking TJ's head off towards the back of B. Now it's just KZR who's sitting in the ladder position. Should be the end of it, and he misses the shot on Davo, which is not going to help things out. He's going to take a fight there, and he's not going to go down initially. But that is going to be the round as he re-peaks and Heartbreak takes him down. But before we end things here, before this map potentially culminates over here, let's do the last giveaway. Please, Mr. Production Sirs, roll the dice down the alleys of fate and give us our winner. Rialet van Jaarsveld, congratulations. You win yourself an EveTech Neo backpack. Please contact Mr. Nobody in the chat and he will be able to hand that out to you. The man opening up things here. When ExDee is on the wall, they get taken down once. Nexus takes down Creation.
KZR's got something to say there. He's going to get 2 kills there. Nexus, does he get the first? He's going to relocate and attempt to take the second, but it's not going to work out there. Rusty, though, and KZR, the only remaining players in a 2 versus 2. Can they make this work? Outgunned massively at this point. But HP can be brought low. Heartbreak, not really in the best position for an AWP. He now retreats to the A ramp. Divo drives the nail into the hearts of ExDee, and it's Divo versus KZR in a 1 versus 1. Massively favored is Divo at the moment. He's spotted his opponent as well. Bomb isn't necessarily planted for him, but does have the knowledge that he has the knowledge that an AK bullet to the brain ends things and wins it for his team. 2-0. Dynamic with a very efficient victory, I think. I wouldn't say it was impressive, but it certainly was efficient.
Definitely. You know, ExDee really didn't quite pitch up in the way that they normally do, especially with the usual culprits. I mean, over the course of this tournament, the best player for them statistically had been Rusty G, and he sort of had quite average middle of the board performances on both maps, which is not what they wanted. But this ExDee team was just closing out this tournament before they disbanded. So a big thank you to them for keeping themselves in it. They do go down 2-0. Not the most emphatic 2-0. DNMK having a couple players coming off of holiday, which could be resulting in their waxing and waning performance. They didn't really give the respect though that ExDee deserved in a lot of cases, and I think that's why the scorelines even looked the way they did. It was still pretty comfortable though, all things considered.
Yeah, like I said, comfortable, but not particularly efficient. It was one of those where it's like there's a lot of like messy rounds where you know, a better team will punish you if you give them those kind of chances. So well played to DNMK. They make themselves they get themselves into the semi-finals of the lower bracket. But more of the same will be definitely required if they are to get to the next round after that.
Well, this does decide our top 4 teams as DNMK goes through, and they will be facing off against Energy in the lower bracket finals. We do have the playoffs, which will happen off stream, which we will update you guys on, between ExDee and Royalty for that 5th position, where they just get into the cash earning positions. But everybody that's in the top 4 has already earned themselves some money, which is absolutely fantastic. Any other thoughts though on the end of this, Mr. Prof, before we sign off?
Not really. Like I said, I think DNMK is looking good. They certainly do have a lot of the firepower. They just need to add the consistency, because you know, you can have as much firepower as you want. When you're running into the ATKs and the Goliaths of South Africa, you desperately need something other than just baseline firepower to knock those guys off.
No, 100%. And I think we're going to have to see if they can do some quick practice, because games are going to go live next week on Tuesday and Thursday, and then we have our finals weekend of the 5th and 6th, where we will have the lower bracket final on the 5th, and then the upper bracket final best of 5 will be happening on the Sunday. So until Tuesday, I have been Wookie Triple XL, joined by Mr. Prof. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you. Unfortunately, we'll have to kick you and the design out for Hayes, who will be returning to us next week. Until then, this has been the Evesports EGL One, sponsored by Intel. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening, and hope you have a good one.